Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Halakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well and still do. Salutations to the Akim on the highways and the hedges and the four corners, preaching his word with truth and sincerity and in faith. Slacking for the noise of this fat nigga woman, demons. But, and this big shalom to all you sincere listeners, and death and destruction to all you scoffers and scorners. This is just, I was just meditating in the spirit, watch a couple of apostles and elders and various diligent Akim videos, getting edified. Just got finished watching GMS Living Waters, Elder Yaquab and Akim GMS Aparium Malak and the other Akim Slakia, I don't know your name right now, but you was edifying too. And just came across this news article, was reading a little bit of it, meditated on some precepts, going to get those precepts, and then Lord's willing, this lesson to be edifying. It's just another testimonial to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and how He judging our nation. When I say our nation, I'm talking about our nation of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but primarily you 2/3. So I'm gonna just get straight to it. It says Jasmine Barnes, Texas drive-by gunman kills girl 7 years old. A manhunt is underway in Houston, Texas, for a gunman who attacked a young family in a drive-by shooting, killing a 7-year-old girl. And this is probably surprising to those of you that are in the world, but to the men of the Lord, starting with the apostles, elders, a great millstone on down, this ain't surprising because the Lord's passing judgment, as you can see. If you've been paying attention to current events in the weekly news, a lot of people have been dropping dead, because that's the judgment of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Jasmine Barnes, her 3 sisters and mother, LaPortia Washington, were driving when an unknown man pulled up alongside them and opened fire. Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, through the spirit, this is the era of judgment for you Israelite women. Jasmine and Miss Washington were shot, and the 7-year-old died in the backseat as a result of her wounds. Police believe that they were targeted at random and have not confirmed the motive. Authorities say the unidentified gunman is a bearded white male in his 40s wearing a red sweatshirt, according to Mrs. Washington's 15-year-old daughter, who got a glimpse of the man. So yeah, there you go. Prime example of the scriptures coming to pass. They speaking and not lying. You wicked nigger women. That's exactly what you get for doing the bidding of your slave master, if you will. Speaking of that, get a quick precept, instead of rambling on. This is the book of Job, chapter 4, verse 7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen that they plow iniquity, and sow wickedness, reap the same. Yeah, and this is the case with you wicked 2/3. You niggas and spicks and Uncle Tomahawks. You're not known as the Father's children, Why? Because you refuse to hearken unto the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father. And most likely, that nigga woman was dealing with some Edomite men, That's why Edomite man came and gunned her child down. Because regardless of what people want to believe or not, these are judgments from the Heavenly Father on you wicked ass women. This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Verse 10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Yeah, and the vintage that's going to fail and the gathering that's not going to come is talking about, you know, your goodies and treats for going against your Israelite man. Because you do the history, Esau has given you a lot of money, you know, giving you your own place, Section 8, food stamps, WIC checks, things of that nature, to do what? To keep the man out of the house. That was the whole essence of feminism, you know, women's liberation. And now it's coming back to bite you in your ass. Verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Yeah, so basically you're going to be naked. You're going to get exposed. You're being exposed for being the wretched whores of Israel. And really it's just a judgment upon the 2/3. The majority of the 2/3 consist of you Israelite women and your rebellious children that don't listen to men. Verse 12, this is the point too. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. That's exactly what you're going to see. I'm going to try to show this video. But this nigga woman crying. Why is she crying? Because she's lamenting for those teats. You know, she remembers the days when she could just drive around and do whatever she wants and have no repercussions. You know, matter of fact, I'll play the video at the end. Just continue. Here's the picture of the 7-year-old girl. Jasmine Barnes was shot and killed on Friday by an unknown gunman, and the daughter said that it was a white male, or at that. You would think that it would have been an Israelite man, but knowing how the Lord made us, it tells you that the Lord made the man upright. It's the woman that's wicked. He reportedly pulled up beside the family's car in a red pickup truck on Sunday morning and began firing with no provocation, Harris County Police said. We were going to leave every motive out. There's out there as a possibility, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said during a news conference on Monday, according to the Houston Chronicle. Miss Washington, 30, was shot in the arm during the attack, and her 6-year-old daughter was injured by the broken glass. From her hospital bed, Miss Washington tearfully told KHU 11 News, I replayed this moment in my head over 1 million times to see did I cut this man off. And obviously, no. She doesn't understand there's judgment from the Heavenly Father. I'm gonna get that real quick. You know, we told you so-called women that you were going to get judged from the Heavenly Father, and now it's starting to come. This is Proverbs chapter 28, verse 5. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord Yahweh understand all things. Yeah, and we understand that the Lord is fitting to return. And the way the Lord returns is by bringing judgment. And judgment is going to come upon you wicked 2/3. You know? It was the book of Romans chapter 9, verse 6. Not as though the word of the Most High had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Yeah, this is pertaining to you wicked 2/3. You're getting cut off and dying. Let me get that precept real quick. Book of Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Yeah, and the third is talking about that. It's talking about the 1/3 and the hopeful elect. Lord's willing, be part of that number, because that pertaining to the book of Luke 17th chapter, like it was in the days of Lot, like it was in the days of Noah, the Lord is always going to destroy the majority of His people and then save a small remnant. And to prove that, I'm gonna get this precept real quick. This is the book of Micah, chapter 5 and the 7th verse. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as a dew from the Lord Yahweh, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep. Who, if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Yeah. Thy hand shall be lifted upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. Yeah. And this is exactly what the Lord's going to do with the hopeful elect. The Lord's going to be part of that. In the middle, in the midst, while everybody's getting their judgment, whether it be death, destruction, through famine, pestilence, rape, robbery, murder, or killing rather. The electric gonna be cool as a fan, you know. Let me see. Is that did I do anything wrong to cause this man to fire shots at my car? I didn't. I didn't do anything. He fired off at us for no reason. At Monday's news conference, it's locked here for the noise. There's a lot of demons around. At Monday's news conference, the sheriff urged anyone with information to come forward, asking locals to review security camera footage in their homes or businesses to help track down the gunman. Yes, we know we're in Texas. Yes, we know we have a lot of pickup trucks out there, Mr. Gonzalez said. But when you put the pieces together, consider that we're looking for a bearded man, possibly in his 40s, driving a red pickup truck. This could be your neighbor. This could be your co-worker. Exactly my point. You're looking for basically a Where's Waldo. The most likely majority of the men, of the Edomite men in Texas, look just like this man. He has also called on the gunman to turn himself in to avoid any further violence. Jasmine's father, Christopher Savella, told reporters his daughter was a loving, caring young girl.
You're gonna have to get your own.
Yeah, most likely you will. Most likely she was, but it's still judgment from the Heavenly Father. And point blank period. I'm gonna get this in the Apocrypha real quick, because this is what it was. We're gonna get that real quick. The book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 39, verse 28. A lot of demons around. I smell a lot of sulfur. If you know anything about sulfur, that's one of the key components in those ICBM missiles. You know, some people out here smell like fire and brimstone. This is Sirach chapter 39, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Yeah, this is clearly the case. You know, nigga, you 2/3 primarily you Israelite women, you nigger women, you spick women, you Uncle Tomahawk women. You don't even understand judgment when it becomes of you. You know, and you don't even understand that spirits of vengeance was created for the source strokes of the Heavenly Father, so it could appease Him. For when you go off and when it's time for your judgment, you know. As we speak, we got Edomites walking around here, so clearly we are in the last times of the last days. The Lord is fitting to return any time now that the prophecy of the mark of the beast being made mandatory comes to pass. You know, and we waiting for that as well. I'm gonna read a little bit more and I'm gonna close out. What if that was your daughter, he said. Please step up at this point in time and help me and my family get justice for my baby girl. The images of the pickup truck have been widely shared online as the manhunt continues. Ava DuVernay, director of film Selma and A Wrinkle in Time, was one of the many voices on social media calling for the gunman's capture, sharing the family's story in a tweet. Some social media users are suggesting the attack was a hate crime, although police did not say they are treating race as a factor in the shooting. Of course not. You could play that race card all you want. This is a judgment from the Heavenly Father, because you Israelite women, it's time for your judgment. It's time for all of you wicked people's judgment. Whether you be 2/3, whether you be the so-called white man, whether you be these heathen nations, because you all are under that vibration of anti-Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and you're going to get put to death. Social media, some users are suggesting the attack was a hate crime. Oh, Slaki, I read that. Civil rights attorney Lee Merritt and activist Sean King have offered a $50,000 cash reward for anyone who can help capture the suspect. Notice there's no picture whatsoever. They didn't show no picture of the car that they're looking for. Why? Because most likely Esau is going to get off. And if he doesn't, more power to him. It's all judgment from the Heavenly Father. Either way, this just means that we're one step closer to getting into the kingdom. Lord's willing to be part of that number. So, see some pictures, of her. And to be honest, The father sounds like he might be from the Latin tribes, you know, with his name being Sevilla. Yeah, Christopher Sevilla. So, you know, and to be perfectly honest, that sounds like either a Puerto Rican or a Dominican name. You know, one of those Latin tribes. But I'm gonna get another couple precepts and I'm gonna just close. You know, because this is just judgment upon you 2/3, and you can expect more from the Heavenly Father. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, starting at the top. Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. Cast them out of my sight, and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then shalt thou tell them, thus saith the Lord, such as are for death to death, such as are for the sword to the sword, such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You 2/3, if you've been turning on the news, 2/3 been getting judged left and right. Some getting put to death, some getting put behind bars, some getting starved to death. You know, with the whole Venezuela famine, how the women had to go to Colombia to go prostitute. So yeah, the Lord's judging our people right now. Point blank period. Captivity, you know, that goes with your concentration camps, or with your migrant families coming from Mexico, from El Salvador, from Venezuela, through Mexico, trying to get into Texas, and they're getting thrown into concentration camps, and their families getting broken up. You know, all of this is biblical prophecy. Verse 3. Actually, I'll stop it there. I'm gonna get this one last precept for you, no good Israelite women, and this is your future judgment. This is Micah chapter 7, verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the street. And you know, when you trodden down mire, that's basically you stomping on shit. It's going to be you Israelite women, you 2/3. It's going to be your judgment. You're going to get stomped out in these streets. So yeah, Lord's willing, you was edified. I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, Shalom to the elect, death to America. And before I leave, I'm going to play this video for you.
I turned on the light and turned around and looked at my 7-year-old, and she was leaned against the door, and she was not moving, she was not breathing. I knew then that she was gone. I replayed this moment in my head.
Yeah, Salakia, that was Satan, as you can see.
Over 1 million times to see, did I cut this man off? Did I make a wrong turn in front of him? Did I stop him from getting out of the Walmart for whatever he was doing? Did I do anything wrong to cause this man to fire shots in my car? And I didn't. I didn't do anything. I didn't make a wrong turn. I didn't get over in his lane. I didn't do none of that. He fired off at us for no reason. None. And I just tell that man, you know, it would be so much easier for you to go ahead and turn yourself in, because we're not going to stop looking. We're not going to stop looking. We're going to bring justice to my baby. We're going to bring justice to my baby. You cannot hide for too long.
Yeah, let me get one more precept just to back that up. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 10, and I'm going to go to chapter verse 30. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me, and I will recompense, saith the Lord. Again and again the Lord shall judge his people. This is the point, verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And that's exactly what you 2/3 are going to catch. You're going to fall into the hands of the living power, and ain't nobody going to be able to deliver you out of that. So once again, death to y'all, and shalom to the elect.